For decades, the United Kingdom has been one of the most popular destinations for students, skilled workers, and their families. It has been seen as a land of opportunity, offering world-class education, high-paying jobs, and a safe environment for families. But in 2025, a major change is coming, one that will affect thousands of families around the world. The UK government has officially confirmed a dependent visa ban for many immigration categories. This means spouses, partners, and children may no longer be able to join their loved ones in the UK while they work or study. The change will have far-reaching consequences, socially, emotionally, and financially. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know: why this decision was made, who is affected, what the exceptions are, and what options remain for families. Stay with us, because this news changes the future of immigration for years to come. Background of the dependent visa system. Dependent visas allow family members, spouses, partners, and children to join a main visa holder in the UK. They are essential for maintaining family unity and stability. Importance for families' emotional well-being. Migrants perform better with family support. Integration. Families help settle migrants into society. Child education. Children can continue schooling without interruptions. Economic stability. Family support enables workers to focus better on their careers. Past trends. In 2023, the UK granted over 40,000 dependent visas under the skilled worker visa alone. Dependent visas have traditionally been part of the UK's immigration policy, allowing a balanced mix of migration for work, study, and family life. Why this is changing. The UK government cites immigration control and lowering net migration numbers. Protecting public services such as healthcare, housing, and education. Aligning migration with economic needs. The 2025 dependent visa ban explained key changes from 2025. Dependent visas will no longer be available for certain immigration categories. Tier 4, student, visas for most short courses and non-degree programs. Skilled worker visa holders earning below a new salary threshold. Short-term work visa holders. Certain temporary visa categories. Salary threshold. Dependent visa eligibility will now require skilled workers to earn £26,200 or more annually in most cases. Example: a nurse earning £25,000 per year may no longer qualify to bring their spouse and children unless their salary rises above the threshold. Government's rationale. The Home Office says, family migration increases pressure on housing, health, and education systems. Reducing net migration is part of the government's broader immigration control strategy. Focus is shifting toward attracting high-skilled migrants without increasing overall migration numbers. Who will be affected? Affected groups. International students' dependents will be removed for most short-term and non-degree courses. Skilled workers' dependents removed for lower-paid categories. Temporary and seasonal workers. No dependent visas for certain visa categories. Families with children unable to join parents may face schooling disruptions. Real-life example: an Indian student pursuing a short-term diploma in the UK will no longer be able to bring their spouse, even if they previously qualified under existing rules. Economic reasons. One of the UK government's main goals is to control net migration. Dependent visas bring many families to the UK, but they also put extra pressure on public services. Housing pressure. Family migration increases housing demand, especially in cities like London, Birmingham, and Manchester, where housing is already scarce. Healthcare pressure. Dependents use NHS services, adding to public healthcare demand. Education system. Bringing children increases demand for school places. Social welfare costs. Dependents may become eligible for certain benefits, increasing public spending. The government believes that restricting dependent visas will reduce this pressure and allow better resource management. 2. Political reasons. Immigration is a central political issue in the UK. Every government wants its immigration policy to align with public demand and economic strategy. Net migration control. The Conservative government has repeatedly emphasised that reducing net migration is a priority. Public sentiment. Public surveys have shown that immigration is a sensitive issue. Restricting dependent visas sends a political message that migration is being controlled. Policy alignment. The dependent visa ban is part of broader immigration reforms that focus on attracting skilled migration while limiting lower-income dependent migration. 3. Social reasons. The government claims that dependent visa changes will improve migrants' independence and integration. Integration. Without dependence, migrants may focus more on their jobs and local community. Population control. Restrictions on dependence aim to manage population growth. Cultural impact. While dependent visas increase cultural diversity, the government considers these changes necessary to maintain demographic balance. The dependent visa ban is not just a legal policy change. It is a combination of economic planning, political strategy, and social reform. Impact of the ban. The dependent visa ban will have effects beyond legal changes. It will impact migrants' personal lives, family structures, and even the UK economy. 1. Emotional impact. Family separation. The most significant impact will be long-term family separation. Migrants will no longer be able to bring spouses or children, affecting emotional well-being. Loneliness and stress. Living without dependence increases psychological stress, especially for international students and workers adjusting to a new environment. Impact on children. If parents live in the UK but children remain in another country, it affects children's education, emotional growth, and stability. Example: an Indian student moving to the UK for a master's degree could previously bring their spouse. Now, they may have to live alone for years, adding stress and emotional strain. 2. Financial impact. Separate living costs. Families living separately means additional costs for travel and living arrangements. Visa application costs. Each dependent visa requires separate applications, adding legal and processing fees. Job performance. Emotional stress from separation can affect productivity and performance at work. 3. Social impact. Loss of family support. Migrants without dependence may experience isolation, reducing emotional and social well-being. Community changes. Reduced family migration will change the demographic makeup of migrant communities. Education and children. Children unable to join parents will face disruption in education and social development. 4. Impact on immigration trends. Reduction in family migration. Dependent visa restrictions will significantly reduce family migration. Increase in single migration. More migrants will come alone without dependence. Changes in settlement patterns. Families will reunite later if at all, changing migration and settlement trends. The dependent visa ban will impact not only immigration law but also migrant life, UK society, the economy, and migration trends. It is a policy change whose full effects will be seen over the coming years. Exceptions and special cases. Although the UK dependent visa ban is significant, it does not apply universally. There will be certain exceptions and special cases where dependents can still join visa holders in the UK. Understanding these exceptions is important for migrants planning ahead. 1. High-salary skilled worker visa holders. One of the main exceptions is for migrants who meet the higher salary threshold. Skilled worker visa holders earning £26,200 or more per year will generally still be able to bring dependents. This applies to occupations deemed essential or in shortage, where the government wants to encourage migration. These rules are designed to prioritize higher-paid migrants, who are more likely to be able to support dependents without relying on public resources. Example: a software engineer earning £35,000 per year under a skilled worker visa will still be able to sponsor their spouse and children. 2. Dependents of British citizens. Dependents of British citizens under certain family visa categories are not affected by the ban. These visas include spouse visas, fiancé visas, and other family reunion categories. This means if the main visa holder eventually becomes a British citizen, their dependents may still join them under specific family visa rules. 3. Humanitarian grounds and refugee visas. Dependent visas under humanitarian and refugee categories will continue. These include visas for asylum seekers and refugees where family reunification is part of the protection process. Humanitarian cases are handled differently because they are based on protection needs, not employment or study categories. 4. Special occupations and government programs. Some visa categories that are exempt from the ban include shortage occupation lists where dependents are allowed to join, certain research visas or academic positions. Government-approved programs where dependent visas remain part of the package. While the dependent visa ban is broad, exceptions exist to ensure that certain migrants, especially those in high-skilled, high-salary, or humanitarian roles, can still bring their families. These exceptions are important for migrants to understand when planning their future. Alternatives for families. For many migrants affected by the dependent visa ban, there will still be alternative pathways to reunite with family members. These alternatives require planning and understanding of immigration rules. 1. Separate visa applications. Even if a dependent cannot accompany a visa holder initially, they can apply for a visa separately later. This could mean the dependent enters as a visitor, student, or through another visa route. However, visitor visas do not allow dependents to work or study long-term in the UK, so this option has limitations. 2. Private sponsorship. Dependents can sometimes apply for sponsorship independently. A family member already living in the UK may be able to sponsor the dependent under specific visa categories. This is often used in family reunion cases but requires meeting financial and eligibility requirements. In some cases, dependents may be able to join after the main visa holder qualifies for settlement or permanent residence. For example, after several years on a skilled worker visa, the main holder may apply for indefinite leave to remain, ILR, which allows dependents to join. This approach requires careful planning and patience. 4. Higher salary job routes. Since the ban mostly applies to lower-paid migrants, one alternative is to secure a higher-paying job that meets the dependent visa threshold. Certain high-demand roles, like in IT, healthcare, and engineering, are eligible for higher salary exceptions. This strategy requires skill development and job market research. Example: a nurse earning just below the dependent threshold may consider upgrading skills or applying for a role in a shortage occupation that pays above the requirement. 5. Alternative countries and visa options. Some families may explore migration to other countries with more flexible dependent visa rules. Countries such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand still offer dependent visas for certain skilled migration categories. This requires research but can be a practical solution for those heavily impacted by the UK ban. While the dependent visa ban is a major change, it does not entirely close the door for families. Careful planning, exploring exceptions, and considering alternative pathways can help families stay together. It's essential for migrants to explore all options early to avoid long-term separation. The dependent visa ban is not just a short-term change. It will have long-term consequences for migration patterns, the UK economy, society, and even international relations. 1. Changes in immigration patterns. Family migration will reduce significantly. The majority of migrants will come alone without dependents. This could mean a smaller number of long-term settlers who bring their families immediately. Migration will likely become more focused on individual skilled workers rather than family units. Example: before the ban, thousands of families migrated together each year. After the ban, the UK may see more single migrant workers, and families may reunite only years later. 2. Impact on the UK economy. Short term, the ban may reduce pressure on housing, education, and public services. Long term, restricting dependent migration could impact sectors that rely on migrant labour, especially where family stability increases worker retention. Potential reduction in skilled labour retention if migrants decide not to relocate without their families. Example: workers in healthcare or hospitality may be less likely to accept jobs in the UK without the possibility of family migration. 3. Social implications. Changes in community demographics and integration. Migrant communities may become smaller and less family-oriented. The emotional and psychological effects of separation may lead to higher stress and lower social cohesion. Cultural diversity may be impacted as fewer families settle permanently in the UK. 4. Impact on future migration policy. The dependent visa ban may set a precedent for further immigration restrictions. This could lead to stricter rules for other categories, not just dependents. Governments may use this as a model to manage migration while prioritizing economic needs. The dependent visa ban is more than an immigration rule change. It will reshape migration flows, workforce structures, community demographics, and the UK's international reputation as a destination for family migration. Tips for affected migrants if you are affected by the dependent visa ban. Preparation and informed action are key. Here are practical tips for migrants to minimize the impact. 1. Plan ahead. Understand the new rules before applying for a visa. If you are already in the UK or planning to apply, factor the ban into your family migration plans. 2. Consult immigration experts. Speak to licensed immigration advisors or legal experts. Rules are complex and exceptions exist that may apply to your case. 3. Explore alternative visa options. Consider whether dependents can enter later under separate visa categories. Investigate other immigration routes that may allow family reunification. 4. Consider higher-paying jobs if dependents are important to you. Target jobs that meet the salary threshold for dependent visas. Research sectors with higher pay or shortage occupations that allow dependent visas. 5. Keep updated. Immigration laws can change frequently. Regularly check the UK Home Office website or trusted immigration news sources. 6. Prepare financially and emotionally. Plan finances for possible separate living arrangements or multiple visa applications. Prepare emotionally for temporary separation and make communication plans with your family. Being proactive, seeking expert advice, and exploring alternatives can make a big difference for affected migrants. Planning is the key to reducing the impact of the dependent visa ban. The UK dependent visa ban is one of the most significant changes to immigration policy in decades. It is set to change not just how people migrate, but how families live, work, and plan their futures in the UK. Key takeaways. Family migration will be significantly restricted. Exceptions exist, but they are limited and specific. The ban is driven by economic, political, and social considerations. Migrants must prepare early and explore alternative pathways. This dependent visa ban is more than just a policy. It's a shift that will affect thousands of families worldwide. For those who wish to migrate to the UK, planning is no longer optional. It's essential. Explore your options, consult experts, and adapt to the changes. For migrants and their families, knowledge will be the most powerful tool in navigating this new era of UK immigration.